Hi, good evening, everybody. Please kindly confirm you can hear me. Kindly confirm you can see and hear me. Kindly confirm you can see and you can hear me right now. All right, so let's do well to invite our other community members. Let's do well to invite other community members. Our speaker is here already. I think as community members of the PM tribe, one thing we should learn not to do is to be among those that make use of African time, right? We shouldn't be in that category at all. We shouldn't be in that category. If we say 7 p.m., it's 7 p.m. And right now it is 7:02 p.m., meaning that we are expecting as many tribers here as possible. So our speaker doesn't have to wait. Our speaker have been on this call for about 15 minutes, thereabouts, if I'm not mistaken, or even more. So I'm expecting that every single person in the community currently should be here. So let's do well to reach out to every single triber on the community group. Tag them. Tag at least. You know how we do it. Tag at least 3 people. Tag at least. So meaning that you can tag as much as 10 people. Tag at least 3 people. I need to see everybody's tag. Tag at least 3 people. For those that are not using YouTube Premium, it means that you have to leave YouTube, go back to WhatsApp. You have about 10 sec 10 seconds to do that. Just tag whoever you need to tag and come back on the call because this session is about to be really, really, amazing. It's about to be an amazing session. I'm personally really excited for this session. I'm personally really looking forward to every single thing we have to learn, on this session. I mean, we're talking about AI, right? And this is something that will help you as a project manager stay ahead of, your game. So this is not one session you should actually miss, or you have to tell yourself that you're going to come back to later, right? You want to be live. You want to make sure that you're experiencing this firsthand. So tag your colleagues, tag your friends, call whoever you need to call. I need to see at least 50 people on this call in the next few minutes. As I'll be calling on our speaker shortly. I'll be calling us on our speaker in the next 2 minutes. So I need as many tribers on the call as possible. For those that have been in a community for a really long time, you know that you should already know who our speaker is today. Is someone that I would always recommend this podcast. Anytime people ask about, oh, what podcast should I listen to, the first podcast I would mention is the project management podcast. So that's why this particular session is really important for me. And I'm sure it's important for the entire community as well, because this is someone we have listened to over time. I've been listening to this podcast for um, yes, right? Over a year. And I can tell you for a fact that if there's one podcast that really, really helped me in my project management journey, it's the PM podcast. And we are going to be listening to him live and direct. This is not podcast, it's literally here to speak to us. And I want you to get your notepads ready, get your pen ready, get everything ready. We are about to start. So I'm introducing our speaker right now. Our speaker, Con- Cornelius Fitchner, is an author, speaker, course creator, and podcast host. Is please, as I'm introducing him, you know how we do it over here. I want to see the conversations in the chat box. We are not robots, we are humans, right? I want to actually see the excitement. I want to see conversations. I want to see emojis. I want to see you typing, right? So I need to see activities in the comments section. So please, as I'm introducing him, I need to see that activity. Cornelius is an author, speaker, course creator, and podcast host. He is perhaps best known for creating one of the first and most renowned PM exam simulators, offering the practice exam that have helped countless students effortlessly pass their PMP exam. Students have said that the main way he helps candidates pass their exam is by letting his enthusiasm for project management shine through during training. Students often comment on how he's able to make a dry subject like PM theory come alive to motivate, excite, and inspire them with this dry subject. He's, he's a past president of the PMI chapter and a PMI fellow. He lives in Tucson, Arizona, USA, with his wife, cats, and computers. Please, with excitement, with joy in our hearts, let's make welcome Cornelius to the stage. Hi, hello, good
Hello,
evening.
Victory. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the community, I just want to say thank you for saying yes to this session. We've been having conversations on the group chat, and literally everybody is looking. I've been looking forward to this session, and we cannot wait to learn from you. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I see all the comments coming in. So yes.
All right, so you have the floor right now.
Wonderful. I also do have a presentation that I'm sharing right now, Victory, and here we go. Thank you so much for bringing that up as well. All right. I plan on speaking for about 45 to 50 minutes, maybe a little longer even, depending on how much I'm going to say. If you have any questions in between, feel free to type them into the chat. I have the chat open here, and as soon as I see it, I hope to be answering your questions right away. So, my presentation is titled AI Literacy for Project Managers. But for those of you who are here because maybe you are PMI certified and you need PDUs, I also have the podcast that Victory mentioned earlier, the project management podcast. So if you want free PDUs, please go to this URL here, pm-podcast.com/PDU, where you can learn everything about earning PDUs from my podcast. Now, even though the title of this presentation is AI Literacy for Project Managers, we're only going to talk about AI about 15% of the time. 85%, we are going to talk about you. We're going to talk about your skills as a project manager, your career as a project manager, and how to become really literate in this world that we are living in now, today. So, for those of you who don't want to stay, for those of you who are looking for one single takeaway, this is what I want you to do. I will repeat this at the end, but on your journey to becoming AI literate, the number one thing that you need to do is to become data literate. So, if you want to go, you know what, that's good. It's enough for me. I don't need to see the rest of this presentation. This is what I want you to do. I want you to master data literacy. Research data literacy, learn about data, improve your data literacy. That is what I want you to take away from our conversation, from our presentation here today. And with that out of the way, let's get started. And what we're going to start with is an AI reality check, because honestly, sometimes when you look into the news, you get things like this headline here from the newspaper, right? The AI completes the project before the kickoff meeting even ends. The team is stunned and takes the rest of the year off. Wouldn't that be great, right? If that were actually the case. Yeah, there's a lot of hype these days around AI, how it is transforming the way we work, and project management is truly not immune. Let's be clear, AI is coming, it will be a game changer. But before we get swept up in the hype, yeah, and with the previous slide with that headline, let's have a realistic conversation. Yeah. The reality about AI and project management is that right now, while it is full of possibilities, it's a work in progress. And it's a work in progress because it stumbles quite a bit. AI needs structured data in order to function properly. And if your projects are anything like my projects, I don't have structured data. I have 20 Excel files. I have things in Slack, in Teams, in Zoom, everywhere, right? We do not have structured data. That means that the solutions that are available to us today, AI in project management, they are often limited, right? They are tackling these specific, detailed processes rather than offering a complete overhaul, a more holistic, overarching approach to artificial intelligence. There really isn't a magic bullet today in AI. Companies might see AI as their magic bullet, but the results will really be marginal at best until you and I clean up the problems that we have with the data on our projects. Now, don't get me wrong, right? There are some fantastic tools out there, early tools out there, generating user stories, summarizing project reports, brainstorming risk lists. And my colleague Lloyd Skinner from England, his team has developed a tool that allows you to take all the lessons learned and bring them into a single kind of user interface using artificial intelligence. So they went from, I think, 5,000 lessons learned, and they were able to summarize them into 300. So all of that, great early tools, but they are not the fully automated and integrated AI-powered future that the marketing departments claim it is. Okay? Now, here's the good news. Experts like Gartner, they predict that by the year 2030, 80% of project management busy work will be automated. Busy work. Think of busy work of things like data entry, writing status reports, tracking everything that you do. You know, all the stuff that wastes your time, all the stuff that wastes my time, and AI is hopefully going to handle it. That is fantastic, but that's 2030, right? That's 5 years down the road. Today, in 2025, the really robust AI functionalities in our project management tools, they're far and few between, or they're few and far in between, rather, right? The paradigm shift is coming, but we are taking baby steps today. So, what does all of this mean, this preamble mean, for you as a project manager and your career path to becoming an AI-powered project manager? It means you need to upskill for the future by going beyond the tools. Don't just learn the latest tools. So forget courses that are titled along the lines of how do I use ChatGPT in project management? That's too narrow a focus. What you need is a holistic approach, a wider approach. You need to focus on AI literacy, and that's what my talk today is all about. So AI literacy is about having these adaptable skill sets, an understanding of the foundational core principles of AI, the technology, the importance of data, the ethical considerations, and most importantly, knowing which project management tasks will not be replaced by AI. In that way, you can then focus on working on those soft skills as a project manager, on those skills that AI will not be taking over. Now, let me quickly check into the chat here. If we got any questions so far. No, nothing that I can see so far. So with that preamble out of the way here, let us move on to this here, right? With everybody talking about AI technology, it's important. Don't get me wrong, right? Knowing the tools and all that is important. Let's not forget that this road is where this road is actually leading us project managers to. In the future, you have to be an AI-powered project manager that brings the human touch to all the projects that you lead, right? And that means you have to be skilled in these general 4 areas that we have here: AI technology, AI project management expertise, soft skills, and strategic thinking. Let's take a look at each of these 4 here very briefly, starting with AI technology there at the top left, because the future for project management is going to be intelligent, and AI is going to power this. You need to hone your AI technical literacy. You need to understand what tools are out there and stay ahead of the curve. You have to sharpen your data analysis skills to translate insights into actionable decisions to become a more efficient and data-driven project leader. Then, second, the future demands your expertise for AI integration into project management. It's no longer enough for you to understand how to manage a waterfall project. It's no longer enough that you understand Agile. You have to know AI as well. How do I strategically and ethically use AI on a waterfall project, in an Agile project? It's about understanding how to identify the appropriate application of AI within the project that you are running. Then bottom left there, the soft skills. This is the irreplaceable human touch and soft skills where you need to strengthen your emotional intelligence to understand and motivate your team, build your social intelligence to navigate complex team dynamics, and build rapport, cultivate communication skills, right? This is all that's going to be very important for you as a project manager, because the AI will be taking care of so many of the data crunching things in the background, right? And at this point, you are deploying and using AI tactically, which means you have time to think strategically and act decisively. But that requires that you develop your critical thinking skills to analyze the information, make sound judgments, and hone your adaptability and agility to adjust to unforeseen challenges and maintain project momentum. Okay, yes. Somebody said, stay ahead and relevant. That's really what it is all about there. Let's see, that's Tito Luvani who said that in the chat. Stay ahead and relevant. That's really a good summary here of these 4 areas within that slide. Did you notice, by the way, that up until now, I've been going for about 20 minutes in this conversation, so 15, 17 minutes. I really didn't mention anything about, oh, you have to know how to actually use AI tools. You have to know where to click. You have to know what to do and all the using of the tools themselves, right? There is a reason for that. Okay. Imagine if I told you that in order for you to be a modern project manager, you need to know how the internet works, what a browser is, how to use search engines, how to network on LinkedIn, how to watch YouTube videos like this one to do some research, right? If I told you any of these things today, you would laugh at me. Saying something like this 20 years ago, in the early 2000s, that would have been correct, yes? But nowadays, all the tools that you see here on the screen, that's pretty much second nature, right? Some of these are already gone. I think there is Skype there on the right-hand side. Skype has just been retired by Microsoft. So it's come and gone, but we know how to use them, right? Now, let's take today's situation with artificial intelligence and fast forward a decade from now. Using AI tools in project management will be just as instinctive because they're going to be on your cell phone, right? So when it comes to learning about AI, the real focus for you shouldn't be on the tools themselves. Where do I click? What do I do? How do I use this tool? In other words, to truly future-proof yourself, it's going beyond the mere use of tool proficiency. Move towards cultivating a really deep understanding, an adaptable skill set that with which you can leverage AI and the potential of AI, all while you are bringing and maintaining the human element that drives project success. Okay, so I have taken everything that I have said, time for some humor here, and I've fed everything into ChatGPT and I said, paint me a picture of what this looks like, this project manager, this AI-powered project manager of the future. And ChatGPT created this image here, this monstrosity here, right? There's a project manager in the center, an enigmatic figure, everybody looking up to him or her, right? It's a bit over the top, to be honest. But there is some truth here. There is some truth to this. I want you to be enigmatic. I want you to be the person that everybody in your company looks up to and says, oh, you know, if you need something about AI, she is the woman to go to. He is the man to go to. So you need to be at the center of all of this. Everybody in your organization needs to understand how this works, and you are the person, and that you are the person who can help them understand this. And it starts here. You need to become AI literate. Okay, if you have never heard of AI literacy before and what exactly it means, here is a definition. This is by Jury Long and Brian McGurko. And let me read this to you. We define AI literacy as a set of competencies that enables individuals to critically evaluate AI technologies, communicate and collaborate effectively with AI, and use AI as a tool online, at home, and in the workplace. Now, this is a very broad definition, but that's okay, because as project managers, we have very broad responsibilities. Our jobs often involve a lot of moving parts. And, at home and a tool, at the workplace, all of that fits into what we do as project managers. Now, if you've never heard of Long and McGurko before, that's okay. They are not really a household name, but they are important when it comes to AI literacy, because they wrote this paper here. What is AI literacy? Competencies and design consideration. In this paper, they introduce a framework of competencies that form the foundation of AI literacy, as well as some design considerations for AI developers that create these AI-powered tools. So unless you work for ChatGPT or Google Gemini, you could forget about the design consideration part of this. But the competencies for you as a project manager, highly important. There are 17 competencies in their framework. And we are now moving on to what I consider to be the worst slide in the history of PowerPoint slides. Okay, I'm going to show this to you. Okay, this is really ugly. And this is actually a screenshot from a YouTube video where Jury Long, one of the two authors of this presentation, where she presented their framework. And what you see here is supposed to be 5 boxes, and each of these boxes is a theme within the framework. And each theme is labeled with a question. Okay? Let's review this quickly and then move on into a way where you can actually see what we're talking about. So first of all, the first box there on the left-hand side, I just highlighted it at the top, is called "What is AI?" The box just below that is "What can AI do?" Then the third box top in the center, "How does AI work?" At the bottom, "What should AI do?" And then on the right-hand side, we have "How do people perceive AI?" What I'm now going to do with you is I'm going to do a review of all these competencies that are, well, maybe not all of them, but we'll pick a few of the competencies within each of these 5 boxes, these 5 themes. And that means we're going away from this because this is probably giving you a headache, this slide here. So, there you go. This is more easily legible. So what we have here, let me just go back. The first 2 boxes there on the left, that's what you see here. And then the next slide is the one in the middle. And so we're reviewing these 5 boxes just in a different way. Okay, so the first question, the first theme, the first box on the left here is "What is AI?" And there, as you can see, there are four competencies listed on the left-hand side: recognizing AI, understanding intelligence, interdisciplinary work, and general and narrow AI. Recognizing AI. It begins really quite simple. This is a skill that you need to be AI literate. Are you working with an AI, or are you working with some other type of software? Some of the expert systems that we have nowadays, they're pretty clever already, even though they're mostly decision trees. That is not an AI. But if I present this to you, do you recognize whether or not you're working with an AI or you're working with some other type of software? That is a basic skill that you need in order to become AI literate. And then let's jump to the one at the bottom there, general or narrow AI. Not every AI is really a super genius. Some are pretty stupid because they're very narrow. They know how to do one thing really great, right? So what would you say if I asked you, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, are those general AIs or are those narrow AIs? Send me your answer in the chat here. I want to see your answers in the chat, and we'll get back to that, and I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. So ChatGPT, is it a general AI or is it a narrow AI, or Google Gemini or Claude or whichever one you're using of the Gen AIs now today? Okay, so leaving that, we're moving on to what can AI do. Here we have two competencies that you need to be aware of: AI strengths and weaknesses. In order to be AI literate, you need to understand what the weaknesses and the strengths are that an AI has, because without knowing that, you can't deploy it properly. Imagine if you deployed an AI with certain weaknesses in your finance department and you didn't realize that those weaknesses make everything really bad, right? So you have to understand that. And you also have to be able to look into the future. You have to say, okay, today, this is what an AI is all about. In the future, this is where it is going. Okay. All right. I'm getting the first answers here in the chat. So we have general AI, general. We have one person who said it is a narrow AI. Akin Boyegbe said it is a narrow AI. Oh, Dumadi also just said it is a narrow AI. So if you said ChatGPT is a narrow AI, you are correct. ChatGPT, Google Gemini, they seem like general AIs, but they're not. They are very narrow. They are GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers. They are very good in managing human language and written word and things like that, but they're very bad at other things. They are not general. Not like you and I, we can do anything and everything. ChatGPT has one very narrow focus. All right, so it's a narrow AI. What is AI? The things here on the left will give you the basics, the basic understanding of what is AI, and that will then allow you to go to the right-hand side and use your basic understanding and have the strategic foresight of all of this. We're moving on to the third box. How does AI work? This is the big one. There are nine skills here, 9 competencies here. There are really only 7. On the right-hand side there, the 2 last ones, action and reaction and sensors. Unless you work in robotics, you can ignore those. So we probably are, many of us work in IT or in construction, finance, healthcare, something like that. Not in robotics, so you can forget about those. Okay, let me pick a couple here. The first one, again, representations. If I look around, I have a window to my left, I have a painting on my right-hand side. I instantly make sense of the world around me. This is how I have a representation of the world around me in my mind. I can take a picture of this, I can upload it to an AI, and the AI can make sense of it. But how does it do that? How does it make a representation of the world around us? Okay. And the third one there, ML steps. ML, that stands for machine learning. The question here is, if we are bringing an artificial intelligence to our marketing department, how do we teach it all the information our marketing department has? How does it learn about our marketing department? What are the steps? What is the data that we need to give to the AI in order to make sure that it understands how we do marketing and what our marketing team does, so that it can give them good recommendations out of that. Yeah? And that takes us to the second bullet point, actually, decision making. If it has all the data, if it has learned about the market, how does it make decisions? It doesn't just guess. What's the process of making all of these decisions? How does it come up with ideas and suggestions? Okay, so all of these skills here, they are about building and understanding AI systems. I'm not saying you have to build a ChatGPT. I'm not saying you have to build Google Gemini. But what I'm saying is this: your company will come to you, you're a project manager, and they will say, go to our finance department, they want AI, give them AI. And suddenly you have a project where you have to bring AI to a department where you have to build that for them. You have to understand it, you have to bring it in, you have to do all of that. Okay? And then the last two when it comes to AI literacy are these two here. What should AI do? This is really about ethics, awareness about ethics, because ethics in project management and artificial intelligence is a really big issue. Imagine just the following situation. Should we allow AI to listen in to the daily scrum that our team has? Should we have a microphone there so that AI can listen in? Is that ethically okay? That is just one of the questions that we need to answer when it comes to ethics and AI. So have the awareness to be there, that this exists. And lastly, on the right-hand side, how is AI perceived? AI just doesn't grow like grass or trees, right? AI was designed, AI was programmed, AI was created by humans, by us. We control AI, not the other way around. AI doesn't control us. We make the decisions how AI is implemented, developed, released, and upgraded, right? So that is an understanding that we just have to have and be able to communicate as well to our teams. All right, that was a quick overview over some of these competencies that we have here, right? Where do you start? Okay, this is the moment when I'm going to tell you, well, I have a course. Obviously, I have a course. It's called Artificial Intelligence for Project Managers. It's at pm-prepcast.com/AI. Right there, you can see it. If this is something that interests you, if you really want to understand the foundation of AI for project managers, this is a good course for you to get started. But let's move on and let me tell you where I think you need to really start. Remember the slide at the very beginning, what I told you? Data literacy. You want to master data literacy, okay? I see a question in the chat. Let me go back to that question. What is a general AI? Abigail is asking that. A general AI is something like C-3PO from Star Wars. It's something like Mr. Data from Star Trek. A machine, a computer that can do anything and everything. And if you think about it, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, they can't do that. Okay? That's a very, very quick definition of what a general AI is. Okay, back to this here. Data literacy for project managers. This is where you need to start because, well, all AI is built on data. This is what data literacy is: the ability to understand, interpret, analyze, communicate data, right? Breathe data and just use data in a way that supports any and all decisions that you need to make on your project. Let me give you a very high-level overview of the areas where you as a project manager need to understand data literacy. There are 6 points here. Point number 1, you need to understand data literacy, or part of data literacy is understanding about collecting data. Okay? Remember, you were just sent to the finance department. Okay? And you need to build the data store for your artificial intelligence. Well, where is all the data that our AI needs for the finance department? And what data should we give to the AI? Is there any kind of data we shouldn't be sharing with the AI? Right? For example, personnel records. Should personnel records be included in the data that we feed into the AI? So data collection, identifying sources, gathering the data. Then the second one at the top in the center there, organize. You have to have a basic understanding of how data is organized and stored, how it is structured, but you have help with this usually, right? Data scientists, data engineers, infrastructure engineers, that is part of their job, but you have to have a general idea how this thing works. Then data analysis, you have to be able to apply statistical techniques, visualization methods, critical thinking to the data that has been collected in order to go from, we have all this data, you have to analyze it, in order to go from there and then, bottom left, interpret the data, right? Analyze the data, process the data, understand the data, interpret the data that you have been given, right? It's the process of understanding the data and making sense of the data and coming up with a result. And that result leads to, bottom center, you can make now a decision, right? You've gathered these insights and you can now make data-driven decisions or recommend data-driven ideas to your team, to your leadership in regards to this is what we want to do. And talking about conveying this to your leadership, bottom right, you have to be able to somehow visualize all of this, right? Most of us do this all the time already today, right? Visualization and taking data and showing it in tables and graphs and making it interesting and communicating this to leadership is probably something that all of us are pretty good at already, right? But still, it's part of data literacy. Here's one thing. Much of what I just told you about organizing, analyzing, interpretation, and gathering insight and recommending solutions. Once you have the data and your AI is functional, your AI is going to do all of that. The data crunching, reviewing it, all of that, okay, is what AI does. You still have to be able to do it, because if you look at the output from the AI and you go, something's not right, we gave it this data and it's coming with that solution over here. Something's not right. Something is completely wrong with how the AI processes this data, right? This is where your understanding of data, your data literacy comes in, okay? All right, okay. I see a comment. Let me read this to you. I am currently going through Artificial Intelligence for Project Management course by Cornelius right now. I highly recommend the course. It is informative, packed in a very structured way. Si Huang, thank you so much for that endorsement. Much appreciated. All right, so this is what data literacy is all about and where it takes you. Let me show you what this means when we apply it on a day-to-day basis. A first step that you could try for yourself, okay? Ask yourself this question here. Ask your team this question here about your product. Which data set, which data store, which set of data in my project would I use to make decisions on? And most importantly, why do I use this data set? What makes this data set trustworthy? Why do I trust this particular data? Yeah? a potential answer to this question could be, well, on my project, it is the sprint burn down chart. So I use the sprint burn down chart to make tomorrow's decisions or to guide tomorrow's decisions. Yeah, because number one, the sprint burn down chart is updated every day by my team. Number two, we regularly, maybe twice a week during the daily stand-up, we look at it and we look at anomalies and outliers and we discuss why is this and what's going on here and we fix any problems. And then also regularly we go into the information and we validate everything against our definition of done, the DOD. Or maybe even, we have somebody in the back office. There is a person in the back office who looks every day at the work that has been done and ensures that the correct information has been entered into the data set for the sprint burn down chart. So we know that the data that we get in the burn down chart is solid. Okay, that is great. It's audited. It can be trusted. But if you hesitated and you're not really sure about what data store it is, or if your answer to the question is a data source that nobody really audits, so the data isn't trustworthy, you have used your data literacy skill to identify a data quality gap. Let me show you what I mean. So your answer is still, yeah, we use the sprint burn down chart, but you know what? I realize now nobody checks this. Everybody just puts the data in, and I use this data to make decisions. Shouldn't we do something? Shouldn't we audit this? Right? So this is now the moment when you can say, yep, I've applied my data literacy skill. I have identified a gap. Now I can take action. Now I can close this gap. I can fix the problem. I can put checks in place. I can audit that data. I can improve the data quality that we have. Let's go back to the very beginning. Remember what I said in the opening when I said, okay, let's have a serious conversation about what AI is really like today. Our data is the problem because it's not audited, it's not verified, it's not correct. This is one of the ways how you can ensure that your data over time is clean and works with artificial intelligence. Okay. Now then, this was a very easy way of just applying that on your day-to-day work. Here is also a recommendation that I have for you. Watch this interview here on the Project Management Podcast, where I interview Markus Glowacz on the topic of data literacy. This is a free podcast that you can watch, no sign up required. And the URL is right here at the bottom. Yes, it is pm-podcast.com/485. This can be your starting point towards the number one thing that I tell you to do: become data literate, improve your data literacy. Right. We're moving on to the conclusion, and I want to start. I have a couple of takeaways at the end as well, but very, very quick. So in conclusion, I want to begin this final segment here with this quote here. Bill Dow said this when he was a guest on a panel discussion on artificial intelligence. And he said this because he said that, when it comes to AI in project management, you need to slow down, right? Don't just jump in and do it. Instead, you have to slow down and do this in a well thought out fashion. And my recommendation to you is ask yourself a few questions before you get started. And I have two groups of questions for you that you can ask. First of all, here are 2, 4, 5 questions that you can ask yourself. These are questions that you ask yourself personally. And the two that I recommend that you should ask yourself are definitely these two here. Without having answers to these two, don't get started, okay? Question number one, what do I want to get out of AI in project management? You personally, what's the point? Why are you here today, for example? Yeah. Answer one could be, oh, my company now is using a project management software that has AI. I have to understand how that works and how this AI tool is going to change my project management approach. That's one reason. The other reason could be, remember, you're the person who goes to the finance department and the marketing department. You lead the projects over there. So I've been selected to be the project manager to bring AI to these departments. So that's a completely different approach. And the answer is going to be completely different depending on where you are. Maybe it's one, maybe it's both. And then second, ask yourself this there. How can AI help me make better data-driven decisions in managing my projects? You can tell where I'm going with this, right? Data literacy, of course, is the answer pretty much to that. But in order for you to answer that question, you have to have data literacy, or at least a basic understanding of data literacy, in order to go there. So these here, take a screenshot. These here are the 5 questions that I want to ask you before you start getting into AI yourself. But we all have teams. We all have project teams that help us, that work with us. These people are probably not here, right? They're doing something else right now. But they're going to be affected as well. So here are, again, 5 questions that you can ask, not specifically to your team, but about your team. You ask yourself these questions for your team. Here are the 2 questions that you definitely have to ask yourself. You're here in this course today. You now have a better understanding of what skills you need, okay? Now you can hopefully also begin thinking about your team. What skills will they need, right? My testers, my QA people, my developers, my graphic designers on my team. What do they need in order to effectively use AI in their workplace? And then, as soon as you start sitting down with your team and you tell them, we have this great tool that's coming, it is AI powered, you're going to start getting pushback because people are going to say, wait a second here. Are you replacing me with an artificial intelligence? I always teach that we don't want to replace people with AI. We want to help people take over the busy work. So all the stuff that really takes up your time, that adds no value and no learning, but things where you as a human are really valuable, that's what you need to do. But things where an AI can be faster, quicker, and help you to be more efficient, that's where you need to go. Yeah? And so you need to be prepared to explain to your team what the goals are of why we are bringing AI in. And now let's take this to the team, finance department and marketing department. As soon as you go over there, the people in the finance department and the marketing department, they're going to have the same worries. Are you replacing me with AI? What's going to happen to me as a person working in this company here? So you need to have these answers ready. You need to have asked this to yourself. All right. These were the questions, the 10 questions that I have for you to help you slow down in the process of thinking about AI. I have one more slide, and this is it. And this is my final call to action for you. This is the takeaways. This is what you should take away from this conversation here today. First of all, future-proof yourself beyond tools. Like I said, how to use ChatGPT for project managers, forget about it. That's not what you need. It's part of what you need, but it's not everything that you need. Go for something that teaches you AI literacy. And if you don't know where to start with data literacy. Data literacy is the place where everything starts in AI. Data is the foundation of everything. If you are data literate, you will have a lot easier time in working with AI, implementing AI, understanding AI, and spotting issues with AI. So as a project manager, AI literacy is your target. Data literacy is step one. Thank you, everybody. Victory.
Thank you so much.
Of
This
course.
session was beyond amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really cannot say thank you enough. So, tribers, community members, let's use the chat box. Thank you. I learned a lot. I was writing and then I was like, I would need to actually come back again to actually watch this session, right? We know that people are actually scared AI will take their jobs. And from this session, we basically can see how we can leverage AI instead. And I actually got a deeper understanding of AI generally because I think most of the knowledge we have on AI is actually like minute, is stunted. We think we know a lot about AI, but honestly, what we do know about AI is not enough. And this session is basically an eye opener. I've learned a lot. I'm definitely coming back to watch this session. And of course, I know other people would as well. So are there any questions? Are there any questions? Use this opportunity. You can see him now. Use this opportunity to ask him questions. When you listen to his podcast, you won't be able to ask him questions. But he's here right now with us. So ask whatever question you have. He would answer it. Does
Notes
anybody have
taken, lot
question,
of value.
question,
Okay.
question? Any question
Yeah.
at all? Any question? All right. If there are no questions, I'm just going to assume that every single person took note of everything I was taught today. And of course, the video would be live, so you can always go back to it to watch. I'd like to say thank you once again
Of course.
to I'd like to say thank you once again for saying yes to our community. Thank you for pouring out so much of yourself to us without holding anything back. We really do appreciate you. We follow you and we see all you do. I always recommend the PM podcast to anybody,
Thank you.
looking to just listen to project management podcast, and the community are actually familiar. They know once they ask what podcast should I always like the project management podcast because it has actually helped me in my journey. Just tuning in, listening to different episodes, and it's an honor to actually be the one hosting the session with you. So thank you once again. We
Thank
really
you
do
for having
appreciate
me.
you.
Much appreciated.
Oh, someone said there's a question. There's a question. Please, can
Yes.
you quickly ask the question so that
Of course. This
Oh, okay.
is from, yeah.
Someone asked a question. Which course would you recommend to learn more about AI ethics?
Yes,
It's in the
exactly. Si
chat
Huang,
box.
who is currently using my course, is asking this. Which source would you recommend to learn more about AI ethics? That is an actual problem because there's really not much out there. Okay, there are only one or two people who are talking about these topics about AI ethics and project management, but there's very, very little out there. So right now, I have no clear recommendation as where to go, other than this. If you are a project manager who enjoys ethics and AI and project management, so if you have this all together, you can make a name of yourself. Become the voice of AI ethics in project management, and you will have a wonderful career, because this is a big topic that nobody really addresses with a lot of information. So that's my recommendation. You are the source, because unfortunately, only very little is out there.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't know if it's my network. Okay. So one, you can hear him. He said you are actually the voice. So we are looking forward to seeing all you get to do that space currently. You can be the voice of AI ethics in project management. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. As we draw the curtain to today's session, I would like to make a major announcement that we currently now have a physical center for the PM Tribe trainings. For those that have been requesting for physical trainings, we now have a physical center. Um, so yeah, congratulations are in order. And while congratulations are in order, to celebrate that, we're going to be having a physical training as well. So we're going to be meeting physically by the end of this month. So for those that you've been looking to drag me out, this is it. You're going to see me. So we're having a physical training on. Peace is going to post the flyer. We have literally limited slots. I think about 20 or so. 20. I don't know if it's up to 30, but I think 20. So if you're interested, just indicate immediately so Peace can take note of that. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again, Cornelius. We really, 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 really do appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is good night from me to you and from the entire community, the entire PM Tribe community to you. Thank you. We really do appreciate your time. Bye.
Bye bye.